Are you listening?
Welcome to the Nerf Report. My name is Brian. Thank you so much for being here this week. A lot has happened since we last talked. Xbox has announced a brand new Perfect Dark game. Fall Guys showed off their Season 3 winter update. BioWare gave us a first look at the upcoming Dragon Age and Mass Effect games. And Ark 2 was announced, and the game will be starring none other than Vin Diesel. But for this week's episode, I wanted to talk with you about Google Stadia, who in my opinion is coming off what might have been their best week as a company ever. Because in case you've been living under a rock, Cyberpunk 2077 launched this week. Realistically, I'd like to believe that there's somebody out there watching this video and they're like, "What? Cyberpunk is out?" And then they close the video and they go play the video game. But before you close this video, we need to talk about this. Because Cyberpunk 2077 might have been one of, if not the most anticipated game of the year. Cyberpunk was originally announced back in 2012, nearly 8 years ago. And after multiple delays, a surprise Keanu Reeves appearance, and fantastic trailers, after 8 years of waiting, Cyberpunk 2077 released this week. And again, this needs to be pointed out. For some fans, this release was the culmination of 8 years of waiting. But with this futuristic next-gen game, fans were met with some very current-gen problems. For example, PC users complained about install wait times. In fact, because the demand for this game was so high, some users reported that the game would get to 57.4 gigabytes and then freeze. And in some cases, this lasted for hours. Next-gen Xbox and PlayStation 5 owners complained about the amount of storage space taken up by this game, with the Cyberpunk 2077 base game taking up 71 gigabytes of space. And on top of that, the game had a 43 gigabyte day one patch, resulting in 113 gigabytes of storage space being taken up by Cyberpunk, which, in case you're keeping track at home, that's 1/6 of your PlayStation 5's available storage space. And for Xbox Series S owners, that's 1/3 of your total storage space. And for previous gen owners with the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, those players complained about massive game-breaking bugs along with extremely poor rendering. And then you had services like GeForce Now, where users were reporting longer than normal queue wait times, with some players waiting more than 2 hours just to play the game. And through all of these problems, one platform seemed to outshine the competition. And at this point, if you need me to spell it out, yes, we're still talking about Google Stadia. Andrew Webster and Nick Slatt of The Verge wrote, "Cyberpunk 2077 shines on next-gen consoles and Stadia, but older hardware struggles." The two continued by saying, "It may be hard to believe, but the Google Stadia version of Cyberpunk 2077 may be the best way to play for most players right now." Paul Tassi of Forbes Gaming tweeted, "Nowhere I hear Cyberpunk is running really great. Stadia, seriously." And to top it off, Tom Warren, the editor-in-chief of The Verge, tweeted, "Cyberpunk on Stadia looks good. There's also performance and quality modes. Stadia looks good." Stadia looks good. Stadia's good. Now, all of this praise caused many players to stop trying to play on their current consoles and jump in to try out Stadia for the first time. And on Reddit, you had users heaping praise by saying things like, "Didn't expect Stadia to be my primary platform for Cyberpunk 2077. I have never in a million years thought that I would be able to play a game like Cyberpunk 2077 on my shitty laptop, but it runs perfectly. Thanks, Google Stadia. I'm genuinely impressed with Stadia. I truly believe this is the future of gaming. And in a couple of years, when my PC goes boom, I'm not buying a new PC or console." And of course, these are great reviews, but the best review by far goes to Seth Manhammer, who wrote, "It feels like I just watched the awkward girl in high school take her glasses off and realize she was hot. I am a Stadia convert now. You see, in many ways, this launch was the perfect storm for Stadia to succeed. You had extreme hype levels for a game, massive downloads, updates, and patch issues, consoles being unable to maintain proper resolutions, and all of those things are the benefits of playing on Google Stadia. Stadia has 0 downloads, 0 installs, 0 updates. When you buy a game, you don't have to worry about which game you have to delete to make space for it. You just play it. And on top of all of that, Stadia allows users to play on any screen that they own. Tablets, smartphones, computers, Chromecast, or even Teslas. Google clearly showed up to the Cyberpunk party this week, ready to play. And I cannot express this enough. That is so important for the future of Stadia. Because remember, we are only talking about one game here. Google Stadia has a roadmap of over 400 games that are in active development. So think about it. That is 400 games that are going to produce 400 stories, where Stadia is going from being the punchline to a valid alternative. With the launch of Cyberpunk 2077, Google Stadia proved itself as a valid alternative to the next-gen consoles. In fact, Paul Tassi of Forbes Gaming ranked Stadia as number 2 in the rank of where to play Cyberpunk 2077, beating out the likes of the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. Which raises the question that we've been asking a lot on this channel: why spend $500 on a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X when you can get that exact same experience through a Chromecast Ultra with Google Stadia? And even then, Stadia, for the most part, is free. You only need a screen, an internet connection, and a Gmail account. You could go to Stadia.com right now and buy Cyberpunk outright and play the game immediately, making the question of why do I need a $500 console so much more difficult? Especially when Stadia will send you a free controller and a Chromecast if you buy Cyberpunk 2077 on their platform. Stadia is literally giving away next-gen consoles for free. And the reason I am so excited about this is, for the most part, cloud gaming is just getting started. The tech and the experiences that you are seeing right now, we're still on the ground floor of what is possible through cloud gaming. And when you add the prospect of Google Stadia eventually coming to smart TVs, giving anyone with a television the ability to play next-gen quality games with 0 installs is huge. Or the idea that cloud gaming will allow for experiences like never before, with larger player lobbies, AI technology like Google Duplex, and exclusive features like crowdplay and state share. Stadia is just getting started, and the company has already stated that they have plans for games and features past 2023. And I also want to be very clear. While this news is a massive win for Stadia and their player base, as easy as it might be, this isn't the moment to say, "I told you so." Instead, it's an opportunity to welcome a brand new audience of players, new friends, potential new teammates, or, more importantly, new fans of cloud gaming. But I'm really interested to hear what your experience with Cyberpunk 2077 was. Have you played the game yet? Did you pick it up on Google Stadia? I really want to hear what you have to say, so please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hey, thanks again for checking out our channel. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, which who wouldn't, hit the subscribe button right there. And while you're down there, hit the like button. Maybe even consider becoming a Nerf Report best friend, just like the people listed down below did. In fact, don't you want to see your name there? I know I do.